Colonel Harland Sanders, who founded the company, when he was already 60 years old. Colonel Sanders was born in 1890 in Indiana, USA. He worked various odd jobs throughout his life, including being a farmer, a street conductor, a soldier, and a lawyer. However, it was his love for cooking that eventually led him to create his own business. Sanders began cooking for people at a young age. He learned how to cook from his mother, and by the time he was a young adult, he already developed his own signature style of cooking fried chicken. He would later perfect this recipe and make it the cornerstone of his company. In 1930, Sanders opened his own restaurant, which he called Sanders Courts and Cafe. It was located in Corbin, Kentucky, and it was here that he first started serving his famous fried chicken. At first, the restaurant was a moderate success, but Sanders had bigger ambitions. He began traveling across the country selling his chicken recipe to the other restaurants. This was a novel idea at the time, as most of the restaurants guarded their recipe closely. However, Sanders believed that sharing his recipe would help him gaining more exposure and build his brand. In 1952, Sanders opened the first KFC franchisee in the Salt Lake City, Utah. The restaurant was an instant success, and the Sanders soon began opening more franchisees across the country. By the mid-60s, KFC had become one of the largest fast food chain in the world. So, how did a 60-year-old man manage to build $1 million company? Well, there were several factors that contributed to Colonel Sanders' success. Firstly, Sanders was a hard worker. He didn't let his age or lack of formal education hold him back. Instead, he was always looking for ways to improve his cooking and his business. He was constantly experimenting with new recipes and techniques, and he was always willing to learn from his mistakes. Secondly, Sanders was a savvy marketer. He knew that he had a unique product that could stand out in a crowded market, and he was not afraid to promote it aggressively. He used a variety of marketing tactics to build his brand, including radio, commercial, printing ads, and even TV shows. Thirdly, Sanders was a great salesman. He knew how to sell himself and his product to the potential customer and business partners. He was charismatic and persuasive, and he was able to convince others to believe in his vision. Lastly, Sanders was a risk taker. He was not afraid to take chances and try new things. When he started traveling across the country to sell his recipe, he was taking a big risk. When he opened his first franchise, he was taking an even bigger risk. But Sanders believed in himself and his product, and he was willing to take this risk in order to achieve his goals. In conclusion, Colonel Harland Sanders was an incredible entrepreneur who built $1 million company at the age of 60. He was a hard worker, a savvy marketer, a great salesman, and a risk taker. His story is an inspiration to all of us who aspire to build our own businesses. Thank you for listening.